The objects that we create are vested with meaning, and hardware can play an important role in helping support that conversation. But to know and understand the physical characteristics of these things is one matter that we want to discuss, but another issue is the presence of being that these things have, and either through their physical characteristics, through their scale, through their condition, which suggests something about the way that they were used or the life experience that they have. And so to that end, I'd like to share a reading with you all from one of my favorite collections of poems called Toolbox by Fabio Morabito. And this particular poem is entitled Screw. Oil is water equipped with hips, an impure sort of water that is on close terms with desire, time, and death. Instead of advancing fluidly and unproblematically like water, oil insinuates itself and minces along, where water, frank and anarchic, simple-minded and monotonous, liberates the world from its secrets. Oil is a water that piles on secrets, water that lost its mission in some cranny and ever after forfeited its innocence. It is water with bad nerves. Exactly the same distinction exists between a nail and a screw. A screw is morose and circumspect, like oil. It is like a lubricated nail manufactured to be mindful of other materials and to get along with them, careful not to impose its laws on them. In a screw, the tough monologue of the nail has been transmuted into dialogue and negotiation. Hence, the joints made by a screw are more durable. In a place of brusque conquest, there's a piecemeal infiltration, the thing that a nail doesn't have a clue about, namely the action of grazing, reaching its highest temperature in a screw. As a result of continual uniform grazing action that resembles a smoldering fire, a screw lulls the material to rest, softening it up. It takes it without taking it, almost with disinterest, without appetite. A nail is much more heroic and exciting. It moves in an epic world. A screw is ugly, torpid, asthmatic, short of initial impact, betraying no eagerness, no feeling whatsoever. But there lies its strength. How is it possible to resist something that never looks you full in the face but offers you only its perpetual profile? How can you argue with it? The threads of a screw are a profile in its purest form. They're simply the absence of all face and all intention. How can you tell when you see the spiral in motion whether it's going in or coming out? Whether it's addressing us or ignoring us? It's the great opportunist. It launches into a long-winded, winding discourse that doesn't allow us the slightest chance to interrupt it or to say no. There's no way into it. Rather than penetrate, it insinuates. It sneaks inside, totally impersonally, without showing its face. If it could, it would become invisible. Its strength resides in its long-windedness. As a talker, it is unbeatable. It's never lacking for an argument. It waits for its opportunity and then never shuts up. But the talkativeness of a screw relies more on a suggestion and a wealth of examples than on the profundity of reasoning. Reasons, like faces, are the children of pauses. A screw which has never heard of a pause is a superlative handler of examples. Each one of its turns is the equivalent of exclaiming, for example. Each turn of a screw is a different example of a nail, of the point that penetrates. A screw is a deluge of questions, but it never gives an answer. That's why by sacrificing the excitement of entering its material with a blunt incisiveness, it secures every millimeter it gains as it advances. Like the delicate slime of a snail, it leaves behind as it moves ahead a winding track that guarantees it will find its way back cleanly without obstacle. And since its root is composed of questions, a hypothetical root, in other words, a second screw can use it in the future. We can go as far as to say that one screw is always another, that it starts over at every turn, inexhaustible and replete with arguments. Hence it's careful never to go against the grain. It advances by the most timid of associations and the slenderest of similarities without the slightest stumbling, like a hand that caresses us without ever detaching itself from our skin so that we don't awaken. Perhaps the spiral edges of a screw in which continuity and rootedness, progression and permanence have found a common solution may shelter the mysterious secret of language. It's precisely this compromised solution, this innate caution in its conduct, that gives a screw its melancholic, almost tubercular appearance. It envies the impetus of a nail, its gleeful versatility, its Dionysian merriment, its uncompromised purity. By wanting to be a nail, a screw displays a yearning for a lost, pristine world where everything was transparent, effusive, ready to be discovered, obvious at first glance, where deals were violent but without subterfuge, without profiles, full in the face with no sign of a frown, and where everything could be used as something else. That profound longing for a more fiery world is clearly visible in the head of a screw, a head always split painfully in two, like the face of frustration or a heart that's been deeply wounded.